What's going on, everybody? It is your good friend Kevin. I am here in Lehigh Acres at one of our listings on Canal Brook Lane. I'm here with the owner Samantha and my beautiful wife Natalie, and we're going to step inside really quickly and have a conversation about what's going on in the industry. I'm pretty sure you've heard just last week interest rates went up to 8%. It scared a lot of people in the industry, but we're here to have a quick conversation about what's going on. Come on, let's go.
So, Miss Samantha, we're here today at your beautiful home.
Yes, welcome.
It's been about 5 years since you purchased this home.
Correct.
And you guys finally decided to put it on the market.
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
We're ready for a change. Like you said, we've been here for 5 years in this house. We love it. It was our first home, but we're ready for a change. We want to upgrade a little bit.
See, and I'm glad you said that, right? Because I know a lot of people actually think that the first home should be their forever home. That typically when they're looking, that first home should check all the boxes,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
So here we are. You've put your home on the market.
Yeah.
It's been on the market for
about a couple months now, month and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know like a lot of sellers right now are saying that they're experiencing a slowdown with the market. So we are pretty much here to talk a little bit about what sellers are doing to help buyers actually get into the home.
Yeah.
What are some of the opportunities so their homes are not sitting, so sellers and buyers can find a good meeting place.
Yeah.
So really wanted to talk to you about the temporary rate buy down. Have you heard about that? Tell me a little bit.
I've heard a little bit about it. Not too familiar with it, but I know a little bit about it. So it seems like something that would be great. Like we talked about before, it's helping both buyers and sellers. So I think that's great, and it's an incentive. So I feel like it's going to motivate the buyer to want to buy the house a little bit more.
So I'll just share with you a little bit more detail on what that is, right? So pretty much a temporary rate buy down is where the seller has to agree to help the buyer, right? And you're pretty much helping that buyer, because we know a lot of buyers are coming into the market, but they're getting shoved out a little bit because of the interest rates. A lot of them are walking away because interest rates are so high and they can't really afford. They get their DTIs are too high, right? So for a lot of us on the buying side, the lenders look at your debt to income ratio, and that's one of the reasons the interest rate factors into that a whole lot. And a lot of buyers right now, because of the interest rates, they're deciding to back out. So we've been talking to sellers a lot more, you know, explaining to them a little bit of how they can actually help these buyers attain a much more financially better monthly payment by helping them buy down the interest rate. So how that works is, you as the seller have to agree to help the buyer to buy down the rate.
Okay.
Right? The cost for that buy down must come from you. They have the option to do a 3-2-1 buy down, a 2-1 buy down, or a 1-0 buy down.
Okay.
What that means is, let's talk a little bit about the 3-2-1 buy down. It's pretty much saying that you as a seller is going to help this buyer buy the rate down for 3 years total, right?
Okay.
In year 1, so let me backpedal that a little bit. Right now, typically interest rates are about 7.5%. That's really crazy for a lot of people, right? What the lenders are going to say is that, hey, based on this 7.5% interest rate that you can get, if the seller agrees to help you in year 1, we'll buy that rate down. They'll buy that rate down 3 points for you, meaning so you'll start with an interest rate, instead of 7.5, you'll start with 4.5.
Okay.
In year 2, it will go to 5.5. In year 3, it will go to 6.5, and in year 4, it will go back to the original of 7.5%. Right? So that person has to qualify for the 7.5% in order to take benefit of the first 3 years. Now, temporary buy down, right? That's all it is. It's buying it down for 3 years for them. However, let's say interest rates get better in the next 2 years. That buyer can now say, okay, I want to refinance. I'm not going to hold on. I can get a permanent rate at 5.5 rather than keeping this temporary rate, because I know it's going to jump back to 7.5 in year 4. And actually refinance. Now, remember this, you as the seller paid for 3 years for them. Now, do they lose that third year that they're not going to use? No, they're not. Right? So the lender will now say, hey, you can't physically have access to this money. However, we'll take the prorated amount and we'll apply it to your principal balance. So it'll reduce the principal balance for that buyer, and now that buyer is allowed to refinance and have a locked-in permanent rate. So it's a win-win situation, right?
Yeah.
So you as the seller is giving them an incentive to say, hey, come buy my house, I'll help you. And the buyer is now saying, I can now get a 4.5% instead of a 7.5%.
Yeah,
it's a
that's
huge
deal,
right?
Yeah.
for your monthly payment. So typically, that's what we find that we've been able to put in front of some sellers lately. Win-win situation for both sides.
For both sides, yeah, for sure.
You get your house sold, they get a payment they can afford, and
they get a house.
they get this beautiful home. So, Miss Samantha, you've been here for about 5 years. Tell me what it is about this home that was so special for you.
So we got married in 2017, lived with my parents for a few months, and just driving by, we noticed there was a sign outside the neighborhood, and it said as low as the 100s.
Wow.
So we jumped on it. Well, my mom jumped on it.
Good for you. Good for mom.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very quick situation. Applied for it, got it, and here we are. We watched it being built from the ground up because we lived maybe down the street. So we were able to see it go up from the ground and saw everything happening.
Awesome.
And like I said, we knew it wasn't going to be our forever home, but we loved what it had. It's a 4-bedroom house, has a den. Master bedroom is pretty big, so we loved it, and it's just the two of us. We have a dog, so it was perfect for us at the time.
Nice.
Yes.
I like that you said that, right? Because I think real estate is really always about timing.
Yes.
Right? So you guys got in at the right time.
Yeah.
You have your equity, and now you're moving on into something better.
Yeah, something better.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Win-win situation.
Exactly.
Now that you guys are moving on, what is it that you're looking for in the next home?
So we're thinking about maybe a 2-story home.
Okay.
We looked around. There's some that are in our price range. Obviously, we still have to do the paperwork and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But my husband likes the den that would be upstairs, the loft and all that stuff. He likes playing his pools, his video games, so all of that would be upstairs for him. But yeah, mainly an upstairs with fenced in. Still in HOA. I love my HOA communities. I know there's some ups and downs with them, but I love my HOA communities. But something similar to what we have, but we want a bigger square footage.
Gotcha.
Like I said, it's only the two of us, but we do want kids in the future. So something with more square footage, definitely.
Let me tell you what I like about that. It's a forced workout. You have to walk up and down
I know.
So I think like it's a win. Here you go, listen, win-win situation again, right?
The cleaning too, but you know, it is what it is.
You might have to get your hubby involved with that.
Exactly, exactly.
Now that you're an experienced seller in the market, a homeowner, what advice would you give to someone else thinking of putting their home on the market?
So I know when we applied for the house, we're young, so our debt to income wasn't the greatest. But with the mortgage company that we worked with, they helped us out and told us exactly what we needed to pay off. So I would say make sure you have good credit. Make sure your debt to income is great, because like you mentioned before, with that interest rate, it will come into play a factor. So like I said, just look into your credit, make sure you're paying what you need to pay. Don't leave anything on the back burner, just make sure all of that's paid off. You think that it might not affect you, but it will, and it will be pulled up, and you're gonna say, hey, oh, I didn't know that was on my credit. Yeah. So just make sure everything is paid off before you even.
So pretty much do the homework on the credit.
Correct, yes.
Well, Ms. Samantha, thank you so much for letting us come in your home today and sharing so much useful information. If there's anything we can do at any time, you've learned a little bit about the 2-1 buy down, 3-2-1 buy down, and how sellers can help buyers. Hope that's something that you and your spouse will take into consideration.
For sure, definitely.
Again, if anyone's thinking of selling their home and they want to reach out to us directly, my name is Natalie Amoroso with the Maverick Home Group and Edge Home Finance. Please feel free to contact us. We'd love to talk to you about the 3-2-1 buy down and how you as a seller can help a buyer out there get into a home that they can actually afford.